Welcome into A Toast of Film. I'm your host, Ebo. And guys, sorry we haven't been posting. I've been dealing with some sickness. We also, had a loss. So things have just been wild. I sound like a frog, but hey, we're here. We're doing the thing. And I have a great episode. Going to keep it short and sweet, just like me. And I'm just toasting with a full throttle, which I think the protagonist from today's episode could definitely use a full throttle. So it's just going to be a nice little double feature. I'll be reviewing The Long Walk, new theatrical release, as well as a release that's been out a couple of weeks, Caught Stealing. So stay tuned for those. Let me get a swig and let's get cooking. All right, so first up is The Long Walk. Let me tell y'all, Francis Lawrence hates kids because the director, Francis Lawrence, he directed Water for Elephants, I Am Legend, Constantine, and most importantly, in regards to Long Walk, he directed The Hunger Games, which is, killing kids, killing kids, killing kids, killing kids. And the writer-director actually is J.T. Molnar, who was the writer-director of Strange Darling, which we at this podcast are big Strange Darling fans. So this is based on the 1979 book by Stephen King, who was writing as Richard Bachman at the time. Basically, there's been a great war, and post-war, they have, at least for the theatrical version, they have one boy from each state drawn from a lottery, but all kids enter the lottery because if you win, you get money, you get fame, and you get one wish, whatever one wish you desire. And so, sounds a little bit like Hunger Games. And so we got our 50 young men. And basically the rules are this. You have to keep going 3 miles per hour at all times. If you stop for any reason, you get a warning. If you're on your first warning and you stop, you get a second warning. If you're on your second and stop, you get a third warning. And then pow, shot right in the head, killed on the spot. Because basically, it's walk until there's only one young man left. This movie, because I'm going to get into the big part. The big part is the performances. But let me tell y'all. So this movie, a few things I expect. One, you don't expect how many miles these poor kids have to walk. Like, my goodness. When they keep ticking up the miles, you're like, oh my God, I'm like, man, after 50, I'd be gone. And these young men go in hundreds and hundreds. And also, this one's rated R. So I should have known, but based on his past movies, I didn't expect him to stay on the gore as much as he did. But he was pretty prevalent. So if you don't like blood and gore, maybe not the film for you. Also, these boys, they're not allowed to stop. So if you have to go to the bathroom, you got to kind of do it as you walk. And that provides some very unfortunate scenes for a couple of young men. And also they can't sleep. So they have to keep walking, so they're multiple days in, they're delirious. So this movie, it was definitely, I should have known, but it was definitely a different experience than you're expecting. I'm expecting like a horror movie. Instead, you get this very hard drama, I would say. It's a drama with a lot of horror elements added in. And I will say the only negative, I do have a negative. My negative is the fact that I think there's too much cursing. I get it. This could be in the source material. I don't know. But one of the contestants, he probably said 100 F-bombs in the movie. And I'm like, I get it. It's rated R. You can say as many as you want. But how about we try and do some good dialogue? Because that always takes me out of it when you choose very, poor dialogue. But, I mean, these young men, they're basically, they know only one of them is going to live. So maybe they just want to get out. I don't know. But let's go ahead and get into some of the performances because this movie is ripe with some of the best performances you'll see this year. Starting out, I can pick no one else other than David Johnson, our boy from Alien Romulus, as Peter McFreeze. Let me tell y'all, he may not be the main character in the book. He may not be the main character in the movie. That could be argued. Pete is the main character because Pete is the heart and soul of this movie. And I saw an interesting take earlier because, all these young men, they're numbered. And Pete is number 23. And somebody was like, I wonder if this is a reference to Psalms 23, for those who know. But I mean, everyone knows, yea, I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. And they were making an interesting point, that he's literally walking through a valley of death because these young men are dying left and right. But he still always has a positive outlook on life. We get his backstory, and it's a very tragic backstory. And yet he is constantly believing in good, constantly believing in love. Like, some of the boys reveal what their wishes are, and his wishes, I just wish there could be more than one winner so that, people, who are friends, they can survive together and grow old together. Like Pete is heart and soul, and David Johnson, I loved him in Romulus, but I cannot wait to see what this young man does because his performance as Pete McFreeze is incredible. So Cooper Hoffman, son of the late great Philip Seymour Hoffman, our boy from Saturday Night Live movie Licorice Pizza, interesting film. He plays Raymond Garrity, and he goes through some emotions in this movie. Let me tell y'all, he has probably, to me, what could be the most tragic scene in the movie. It's a scene involving him and his mom where he is in that delirious state. And it is heartbreaking when he because if you step off the road at any point, you're automatically shot, no warning. And he sees his mom, she's watching, and he runs and he's about to jump off the road because he just wants a hug. And he's screaming and crying, and she's screaming keep walking. And his mom, played by a friend of the show, Judy Greer, Miss Garrity. That scene is just it hurt to watch because both of them put so much into that performance. And it was great seeing Judy Greer get to be, bona fide acting in a movie because a lot of times she plays specialty characters and stuff. But Cooper Hoffman, Judy Greer, great. I had never seen this young man before, but he plays Arthur Baker, and he is a sleeper excellent in this movie because he's not flashy like David Johnson, Cooper Hoffman, or some of the, more interesting characters we'll get into in a second, but he just gives almost like a heartbeat. He just gives that good rhythm performance throughout the movie. That's just excellent. Ben Wang as Hank Olson. That's our boy from Karate Kid Legends. He's the one that says about 100 and some F-bombs in this movie. But he is so good in this movie because he is, there's no other way to say it. He's small. So you really feel for him because all these are young men. We're supposed to believe they're 18, 19. But the thing is with him, he's so small compared to a lot of the other gentlemen that he's the little guy that they're looking out for. And there's a couple little guys in this. But I got to say, after seeing him in Karate Kid Legends, where I thought he was great, seeing him in this, I think Ben Wang, we got a lot of expectations for him. I am excited because I read Sunrise on the Reaping, and he's going to be Wyatt in the new Hunger Games movie about Haymitch's games. So we got Charlie Plummer as Gary Bartnovich. This is what I'd say is one of our 3 antagonists, 2 that are on the walk and 1 that's like bona fide villain. So Gary, he's an interesting one to tackle because this young man, it's very apparent he has mental issues. And so he's not only dealing with the fact that he's trying to be a good kid and he has these issues and he might die and other people are dying. And it's just, he gives a very, very good performance where you hate him and just like want him to fail so he gets shot. But then at the same time, you feel for him because you can be like, this poor guy, he's like going through it in the head, like before the stuff began. And this is only exacerbating that. And then we have Garrett Waring as Stebbins. He is like, think of him as like the Captain America. He is taller than everyone. He's stronger than everyone. He's more jacked than everyone. He is just the be-all, end-all guy. And so he gives a very good performance where it's a very quiet performance, though, because it's mostly just him just being better than everyone. He's stronger and all that. He does have his own challenges, though, that, the movie gets into. But finally, we have our bona fide villain for the movie. That is Mark Hamill as the Major. Major is the one that runs this whole thing. He's riding in his little car while these boys are walking. He's talking them up, but he's also talking down to them. He's just a low-life scud. And he talks like this, "Hey, boys." And, Mark Hamill, I like where we're at with Mark Hamill's career right now, where he's okay being hated. He's okay being a villain. It's a very interesting aspect to me. So Long Walk, I can't say more good things about it. It's a solid movie. It's definitely not for everybody. I do understand that. But The Long Walk, I think, is a solid one that we're going to be talking about at the end of the year. I give Long Walk a 4.6 out of 5 cheers. And now on to Caught. All right, Caught Stealing. This is from director Darren Aronofsky. Very interesting career. Writer-director of Noah and Requiem for a Dream. Director of The Whale, Black Swan, and The Wrestler. So I do think he's a better director than he is a writer. And so thankfully with Caught Stealing, he's just directing. But this one, we got Austin Butler, our boy, as I was about to say as Elvis. He played Elvis as Hank. And Hank, he has a very, bad backstory we learn about. But basically this dude, he's just trying to live. He's happy working at the bar. He's got him a nice little honey, Zoe Kravitz as Yvonne. And then, wouldn't you know it, his friend Matt Smith, the doctor himself, who plays Russ, this like British anarchist guy, he just goes off, deals with that, and gets him into trouble. And then Hank's got to deal with this trouble, and he starts dealing with gangsters, crooked folks. We got Regina King as Detective Roman. We got Bad Bunny as Colorado. And we got Liev Schreiber as Lipa, Vincent D'Onofrio as Schmully. So he's getting it from everywhere. The Puerto Ricans, the Jewish people, everybody is coming after him. And it's just Hank and this cat, Bud the cat, played by Tonic the cat, who is actually Church the cat in the Pet Sematary remake. So this cat, he has some screen presence about him. Now, this movie, it's very stylized. It's a lot of deaths. This week, there's a lot of running and a lot of deaths in both these movies. But Caught Stealing, it's very stylized. I could have done with less flashbacks. There's a lot of flashbacks in this movie. I will say the action is really cool. There's some cool car stuff, some cool chases. There's a lot of shooting, like I said, a lot of death. I do think the performances in this are really good. Austin Butler is Hank, excellent. I really enjoyed Liev Schreiber and Vincent D'Onofrio. It was interesting in Matt Smith because he's like bald with just a giant mohawk, just this punk rocker. Let me tell you, Tonic, the little cat, that's a talented cat, man. He's more talented than me. And I just gotta say, this movie, the performances are good, the action's good. I don't know what it is, but there's something where I'm like, I just don't know with this movie. I do think it's good. I just don't think it's great. Long Walk, I think is great. Caught Stealing, I think is a fun movie. I think it's going to do well. For example, on like when this comes to streaming, I think this is going to do excellent. I think this is a good movie to watch with a crowd. But overall, I think it's a good movie. I just don't think it's a great movie. I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5 cheers. But guys, hopefully I kept that short and sweet, just like me. And if you want to let us know what you think about The Long Walk or Caught Stealing or anything else, there's so many ways you can do it. Let me tell you the best ways. Check us out on Instagram and TikTok, A Toast to Film, all one word. Check us out on Twitter at film_toast, or check us out on wonderful YouTube. You can see my tired, sick self. Hopefully, I don't look terrible. But make sure to like, make sure to comment. I love reading comments. And if you don't mind, subscribe. We're working our way up. We're working our way downtown, feeling good. I don't remember the lyrics other than working my way downtown. But we just hope you have a good night and good viewing.